your argument is effectively to say that the problems aren't that society has become too feminized. It's actually that society hasn't become feminized enough, and that in particular, while workplaces maybe include more women, workplaces and other environments kind of, as you said, impose on women this need to adapt to male identity. What do you think about this kind of rise in explicit anti-feminist thinking, and to just put a fine point on what aspects you think they get wrong?
Yeah, I would say that the workplace isn't humane enough, in
Hmm.
that it treats people or aspires to treat people so that they're interchangeable cogs that don't fail, don't have needs, don't have relationships outside of work. And that's bad for men and women, but for women, it's unendurable faster. Women are kind of the canary in the coal mine of, are you setting up a workplace? Are you setting up a society that allows you to have relationships of dependency with other people who need you? Because pregnancy is very different than some of the other relationships that men have. But in both cases, if you can't take a day off work to care for someone who's sick, that's hard on men and on women. It just hits women harder. With regard to some of these different anti-feminist critiques, I think sometimes at their best, they're responding to a strain in feminism that I also reject, which is placing autonomy at the center of what we understand it means to be human. A lot of pro-choice advocacy starts its philosophical argument from the idea of a baby takes away a woman's chance to author her own future by interpolating this intruder who has different demands, who makes her sick, who limits what she can do. And if she's not actively willing this is unfair. And it's doubly unfair because it compromises the woman's autonomy, while at the same time, the baby is manifestly not autonomous. It needs her. It needs her intimately, and that need can't be answered by any other person till delivery. That's a strain of feminism that certainly exists, and which I think can't ultimately serve women well. Leave babies aside completely, because everyone will have periods where they fall short of this false image of autonomy, and it leads us to conclude that we're not fully human or we're failing as human beings in those periods. So that's where I'm in agreement with some of the critiques. Where I'm in disagreement, however, is first of all, the kind of desire to take the errors of the feminist movement to write off the genuine rooted critiques, especially of the early first and second wave feminist movement. That these were women responding to real injustices, political and social injustices that didn't leave mothers room to flourish at home or in the workplace. And part of the goal, I think, is the more you have concerns about where feminism ended up, the greater your responsibility to try and figure out, well, what in my own worldview could have responded to these unfairnesses and injustices better? How did my side fall down on the job here? And how can I make a credible pitch to mainstream feminists that we won't fall into those old errors, even as I try and repudiate new errors?